Now we turn to the private sector partner who has been absolutely remarkable in his dignified, disciplined, incredibly arduous process of producing this project, Jim Behrens of Wexford. Wexford Science and Technology has become renowned across the nation, indeed across the world, for producing, indeed world-class, incubators, accelerators, integrated sites that link university and medical center with industry, producing tech transfer, which is exactly what Rhode Island needs. Jim Behrens has been absolutely remarkable, and we bring him to the fore. Jim Behrens, take the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Regretting my decision for a dark suit this morning. So anyhow, it's hot out here. I have a couple of quick comments about the project, and then I want to identify some of the development team. So anyhow, we're finally here. It seems like we've been talking about this for a long time. In fact, we have. It was actually 3 years ago when I came here to visit Dick Galvin as he was launching South Street Landing. And you should all appreciate Dick for the fact that he was the kind of the original pioneer here. And then we conceived of this project and have been literally working since that time to get to where we are today. I will say that dealing in creating innovation districts in the university environment, that projects like this do take time. They are very difficult to do. And I want to, relative to that, I want to make kind of 2 points. One is, in order to create high-performance buildings like you see behind us that are conducive to the new workforce of innovation itself, and collaboration, they're expensive buildings, and we need to make them affordable, and that's a huge hurdle, particularly for smaller markets. The other thing is when we launch a project like this, who the initial anchor tenants are is incredibly important, because you want tenants that are innovators, that foster innovation, and they attract other innovators. And at the end of the day, we have accomplished that, which leads me kind of directly to my second point. We have found as a company, particularly in smaller markets, but everywhere, that there is a real power that exists in state and city governments relative to their ability to make real on-the-ground changes. Regardless of what's happening at the federal level, there is an opportunity locally to deal and with economic development. And so when we look at a place like Providence and selected other cities we've been in, it has been this collaboration that exists within the state and the city, amongst community leaders, among private industry leaders, among university and institutional leaders, that when they all work together, they can do really great things. And so, with that, with the governor's leadership that has worked its way through the state government, the city council, the institutional participants and private industry here, that has made this project viable and will make it successful. What we see here is there's a lot of time where you're trying to create the deals, you're trying to formulate your strategy, and you don't really see anything. But right now there's a lot happening here in Providence. South Street Landing is just finished up, and between that and River House, which is a residential project that is under construction there, and this innovation building, there's $300 million worth of investment that is happening here at this point in time. So things are changing dramatically. There will be, amongst those buildings, there will be over 2,000 students and workers in those facilities. If you look at the programming elements that exist, particularly within the building that we're talking about here today, you'll have tens of thousands of visitors to the building for events, and to be part of what we want to be is the innovation community here. Let me talk just a second about this building. So it's roughly 200,000 square feet. And as of today, it's 75% leased, which is great. 2 years from now, we expect it to be 100% occupied with the tenants that you see here today that are very exciting, as well as others. So if you look at the building, it's perfectly, in our minds, set up for success. So you have a leading university in Brown participating. You have one of the #1 innovation companies in the world in J&J's occupancy in this building. You have what we think is the #1 innovation center operator in the Cambridge Innovation Center. We're doing a district hall, which is 10,000 square feet of gathering and event space that will be there to consolidate the activities of the innovation community. And we have Venture Cafe, which is participating here, which is the #1 programmer of innovation events that we're aware of in the country. So all those things together bode well for this opportunity. Let me just remind you that there are 3 things we're trying to accomplish with this as we launch this innovation district. We want to concentrate the innovation assets of Rhode Island and Providence. And the innovation assets are talent, it's money, it's programs, and companies that we want to consolidate here, because particularly in smaller markets, if your assets are spread out, they have less impact on the environment around them. So that is #1 of what we're trying to accomplish here. #2 is really to create this intersection between the university and institutions, private industry, and the entrepreneur. So we want to grow, ideas and talent. And the third thing that we want to do is through spaces and programs, is to attract, maintain, and help grow the serious entrepreneur. And if we're able to do that, then talent will cluster here, and talent is the main ingredient of economic growth at the end of the day. So that's what we're trying to do. It's a good start. Let me just take a moment and recognize the development team, because there's been a lot of work behind the scenes. Just read the names of the companies at the moment. So Air St. Gross is our lead design architect. I think there are representatives here of Air St. Gross. Beta is our civil engineering company. GZA is our environmental engineer. And Shawmut is our general contractor. There are many other participants and subcontractors that you cannot go into in detail here, but I want to thank them for their participation. And then finally, I want to just make a comment about or recognize the folks that were kind of in the trenches along the way. We discussed the weekly meetings and calls that we had between Stefan and Joe and myself. My count is that we did that over 70 times, and whereas we're friendly guys, we like each other, I think maybe we could ratchet that back a little bit. But that gives you the intensity of this. So when you look at the I-95 Commission, Joe and Peter, and then Stefan and Jesse, those were, in my mind, kind of the core group in the trenches day after day to make this happen. So I wanted to recognize them and thank them. That's it. Thank you very much.